Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Finance Transformation for GCC leaders. Agentic AI becoming talk of the town, and it was important for us to bring someone in the room to discuss what will be the shift in the skill set in 2035. How will the board shape up in terms of investment in talent and agentic AI? And also we will discuss about how senior GCC leaders will have to cope up with midlife career crisis, what to avoid, how to ensure they are on the trajectory of growth. And to have that discuss, I have got none other than Nitin, who is veteran in this industry, who has led finance transformation for multiple consulting companies and has been in the boardrooms of very large MNC bank operating a very large GCC in India. Welcome, Nitin. And we would like to have you open, honest conversation on some of the latest trend on AI, digital skill set, what needs to happen, or what senior leaders in GCC need to avoid to come out of midlife career crisis. So thanks, Nitin, for joining us.
Thank you, Vinay, for inviting me. I'll try to be as honest as I can without taking names. So happy to be here.
Thanks a lot, Nitin. So with agentic AI becoming talk of the town, and in fact 9 out of 10, or in fact 10 out of 10 discussions that we have within GCC landscape, we see a lot of one chaos and second fear among larger GCC audiences. What will happen to them? What is your take on it? How people should prepare for this change?
Yeah, that's a very interesting topic. While you are absolutely right that 9 out of 10 discussions, or almost 10 out of 10 discussions, are around agentic AI. But in India specifically, we are a little far from what agentic can really do. Because I work with a lot of companies outside India as well, and I see the difference in what and how they are using it and how we are using it. And it's a new technology for all of us. And the point that you are mentioning about, so we are using AI, we are using ML, we are using a combination of that, and then agentic is coming in, which will start taking actions on behalf of the human being and the activities, etc., which will require a very solid infrastructure and the data foundation. So which will require a little bit of time. But having said that, this is a reality. This is going to change how we work. And what should senior leaders should think about? I think one thing is inevitable, that we have to embrace the technology. Now we have seen spreadsheets coming in, and we have seen ERPs coming in, and RPA coming in, and cloud coming in, and now AI. And I have lived through these transitions. This is a bit more nuanced because this is not only technology, this is changing the way we operate. This is more like an operating model transformation. So every leader should embrace it, number one. Every leader should start to think, what can it do in their function, in their for solving their problem statements. And specifically the CFOs, they should also think about what it can do for the enterprise also. So if we do not embrace it and then we remain the experienced leader of yesterday, it will be very tough to compete with the leaders of tomorrow.
No, absolutely right. So what we were also hearing as part of some of the discussion that we have, people like yourself, so there will be a new term of unlearning, relearning, same thing. So what will happen, there are a lot of functional ownership or functional knowledge that GCCs has been able to develop over a period of time. But this will be functional plus AI intelligence skill set. So people will have to just take some time off, go through some of these latest technologies, then only they will become relevant. So do you also subscribe to this viewpoint?
Yes, absolutely. And when you're talking about new terms, there are a few terms that I use. One is AI fluency, right? We all are functional people. Then if we keep saying that we are functional and technology will be taken care by someone else, I think we are missing the point, right? So AI fluency is very, very important. So that's one term that I continuously use. The other term that I use is we are moving from FOMO, which is the Gen Z terminology, fear of missing out, to FOBO, which is more like a mid management kind of terminology, which is fear of being obsolete, right? So which is very, very prevalent today and very relevant to the question that you have asked. So should we take a break, learn, and then come back? Should we do it on the job? There is no one prescribed this thing. What I follow is a 70-20-10 model, right? So if you can get some opportunity to integrate AI and AI kind of projects within your work, 70% of your time should go on work, learning how AI works. 20% of the work that we can learn is through reading, talking, discussions like this, events, etc. And 10% can go in a formal certification if somebody feels that they really need to learn a particular model, learn a particular technology or an industry or use cases, etc. There are plenty of courses available. So 70-20-10, but it can be different for different people. If you do not get opportunity at your work, then this percentage changes. Fortunately, I get it at my work, so at 70-20-10 works for me.
And let's say not one. So in next 10 years, and this is all anticipation. So what we are expecting within finance, because most of the work where finance team have been able to contribute more to the onshore work is around technical operational jobs. And the moment AI enters in that equation, it is likely that 80% of such work will either be taken care by bots or they may get eliminated. So in such cases, how GCC in India, and I'm talking from finance perspective, but it is applicable for other skill set as well. Do you think we will still have that ace in 2035, as in 10 years down the line?
2035, will we have the ace? Will depend on how we evolve as a function, as an industry in India, right? So, we started with the labor arbitrage. Now we have moved up the value chain. Now we are calling ourselves from the capability perspective. Innovation is taking a center stage. So if that kind of progression continues, probably we will stay relevant. But your point is very relevant because some of the work that is done by transactional part of the employees, will be subject to automation. And the GCC, the way it has been built, first, we got all the transactional stuff in, right? So we have an abundance of transactional work happening in the GCCs, right? So, and which is also the target area of AI, agentic AI as well, right? So it will take a lot of that volume away. Having said that, it will create newer aspects of jobs. Analysis will be much deeper, much sharper. In my view, the speed at which transactional work will happen, the human in the loop has to be ready to review that work, right? Which is one of the challenge that I see in the industry today. I was talking to a product manager in the banking industry, and then how is that product manager team is doing with the AI coming in, and product engineers are writing the code really fast. And the point was, they are writing the code fast, but we are not able to provide the product roadmap as fast. So we have not evolved while AI has enabled the engineering team. Now that's a problem, everywhere, that if I get all my trial balances and all my variance reports and reconciliation and so on and so forth, that I need to sign off, am I ready to sign that off? Because I need time to review it. I need time to see the trends, etc. I don't have that team ready because earlier the team was doing it and they were providing me comfort, and I do not have that today. So I have to create that layer where human in the loop brings that experience, do that review for any CFO to sign off. So that's why I'm saying it's not a technology shift. It's a transformational shift. When we say transformational, in a way, the operating model will transform.
is AI really the need of the time, or there is too much of push through marketing, through some of these social marketing, that it has reached to a point where people are realizing, oh, if we have missed this, we have missed the train. What is your view on that?
Yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, I keep reading these numbers and keep listening to these numbers from different leaders. I would just correct one thing. So 70-30, let's take that example. 30% of the roles will be done by AI. I don't think there will be roles that will be performed by AI. There will be tasks and activities that will be performed by AI, because every role will still have some human in the loop. Right? Now, this will split the whole role into different aspects, and some things can be done by AI and some things can't be done by AI. Right? So wherever you get transactional stuff, you get database decisions, etc., can be easily done by AI. Wherever there is decision making, there is judgment, there is accountability, there is any sort of fiduciary responsibility. I mean, those are the things which will still be done by humans, right? And that's where the functional expertise become really important. So that's number one. So the second point that you mentioned, is it a hype or is it really required? I think a bit of both. I mean, let me just give you both sides of the story. Number one, you said a large investment is going into the AI through debt and through equity, right? And very important point, wherever the equity investments are happening, the investors are very bullish because the valuations are very, very high. Wherever there is a debt investment, there is no premium on that investment. They don't feel it is as important or as profitable as others should be. So their interest rates are like any other investment. So there is a little bit of conflict there how they are seeing it, because till now we have seen different technologies coming in and they are taking shape in years. Now this is changing every quarter. Right? Narratives are changing every quarter. If you read it, till last quarter, we were thinking about this is going to change the world. This is going to be part of the organization. But I mean, I started writing a paper on the total cost of ownership for the CFO board. And post that, I mean, I have heard a lot of other leaders are also talking about the cost of ownership, because the cost is really, really high. When we look at the pilot phase, it looks very profitable. It looks very, very good ROI. But the moment we put it into production and we scale, I mean, it starts to raise the question, is it worth it? Especially in Western world, yes, still it looks doable. But in markets like India or developing markets where the cost of labor is a little lower, it still doesn't make sense. A lot of CFOs are talking about, I mean, we have invested a lot in implementing the model because there was hype, because there was FOMO, but the ROI is not coming in, and the board is asking the CFO, not the CIO, not the CDO, but the CFO, I mean, what is happening to this investment and how are we going to recover what we're going to recover? So that's one side of the story. The second side of the story is from an investor point of view. I was talking to a few big tech companies who owns the model in the US. I keep talking to them for my paper to understand, because they are changing their pricing structure. They are changing their commercial structure. They are changing the way they contract with enterprises, right? And all of that is to maximize their ROI. Because they have invested billions in that, and the model comparison is becoming more of commoditized. Now, when that is commoditized, it puts pressure on the pricing. So how would they get the ROI they have promised, and they are looking at it. So now, very recently, I mean, there is a new set of investment that is coming in the frontier model, where they are putting in people in the organization for organization to embrace, adopt, and implement AI. So OpenAI, Amazon, Microsoft, Anthropic, everybody has put in more than $1 billion. I mean, in bringing those employees who will come to your corporate environment and help you integrate AI into your work. So is it going to stop? No, a lot of money has gone into it, but we need to see as a community CFO specifically, because that's the paper is talking about, that what are the questions we need to ask, right? About the cost, total cost of ownership. License is the cheapest part of the AI implementation. Right? So it's data, it's workflow, it's security, it's everything else around it, the people part of it, the training, retraining, model migration, I mean, you name it. And we need to find our swim lane for us to ask the right questions by staying in our lane. When I say staying in our lane from a CFO perspective, so that CIOs and CDOs are not pushing us back and they're not calling us blockers, that you are asking a lot of questions because you do not support innovation. Right? So while staying on the right side, managing the perception of not being a blocker and still, working in the interest of the enterprise.
If we keep that ROI equation into the perspective, then do you think waiting 5 years, 6 years, let this AI become a little more mature? Some of these use cases which we are finding in boardrooms become a little more proven fact, and then organizations start adopting it, or that will be too late for many organizations?
Yeah, so again, that's a question every organization need to ask, right? So I don't think waiting for 4 or 5 years is a good choice, right? How do you want to embrace? I mean, you can create a roadmap for your organization, right? So whether you want to embrace in a particular function, where the ROI is maximum, and when we did it for a couple of organizations, we saw that the best ROI is not in finance function. The best ROI is in tech. The best ROI is in operations. It's in fraud. It's in compliance. It's in customer service, and so on and so forth. But the question then is, as a CFO, if I am approving certain capital allocation for AI investments, and I have also been pushed to see, how we can embrace it in finance. So it's a very conflicting position for any CFO to be in, where if I approve it for finance, I know there can be a better ROI elsewhere.
Correct.
If I don't, then I left behind, the whole organization is moving in one direction and finance is not. So that becomes a portfolio question, right? So should we invest at some areas where we get the maximum ROI, and then we should also invest in areas just to catch up and carry on with the culture of embracing AI. So the point is, rather than waiting, I would choose where do we want to implement, which part of the organization, how much do we want to invest, how do we see the ROI coming in quarter on quarter, and keep it flexible, rather than not implementing it for 5 years and seeing where it is, because the speed at which models are migrating, if you have not embraced it now, you will not know how to move forward. This will help us create the infrastructure and the context and the foundation for us to really accelerate when the right models and the right architecture is in place.
So you're saying you at least be part of the train, let it emerge, and then you decide for your roadmap. And a good point.
Right now, finance is in a transitionary phase where we are using historical systems of record, to report what we need to report. And we are also trying to embrace newer technology. So that's the transition phase that is right now going on. From a people, capability, systems, data perspective. In future, you're talking about the future as well. I envisaged the finance function to be more productized, right? We do not have the product culture very much in the support functions now. It is there thanks to the startup ecosystem, thanks to the technology involvement. We are seeing some of that in different industries, but still in traditional industries, in support functions, we do not see productization. I think that's where every large organization should go, because if the data is clean, let's assume data will be cleaned in next 5 to 10 years, systems will be upgraded because technology is helping us to modernize existing system a little faster, cheaper. So will there be a human-less, finance function? Answer is absolutely not. We will have different products to provide intelligence to the businesses for taking the calls, taking the decisions. Now there will be product managers providing different businesses on how the business is evolving. Are you moving to a new market? Are you moving with a new product? Is your customer preferences moving? Now with all of that, the kind of reports that you need would be different. The kind of KPIs that you need to track would be different. So how is finance changing all of that? Right? One of the leader I was talking to, a very large company CEO, he was saying, we have all the dashboards that we need. We don't get any email reports, etc., etc. I said, then you must be a really happy CEO because you must be taking the decisions on a real-time basis. He said, no, I got all of that, but those are stale. Our priorities have changed. Our growth expectations have changed. Our markets in which we operate have changed. So we get those reports, but those are generated in a way that we used to generate a few years ago. So the idea is, do we have the systems for the future? Do we have the organization for the future? And do we have the people with the capability for the future? So for finance specifically, I think we have to go that productization way, where every finance employee owns the report end to end. I started with a problem statement that we do not own those application, hence we do not own that data, hence cleaning that data is very tough. But in a product culture, I should not be saying that because I would be owning that report. So I should be working with everyone in that value chain to make sure that everything that is coming in that report is absolutely crystal clear.
Now, I want to take it to a different level now. You being center of some of these large GCCs, and in fact in your department, if you have to come out with a strategy around your talent and AI, in next 10 years, what will be the investment plan in terms of upgrading your talent or bringing new talent? And then similarly, how much should you apportion for human investment and AI investment? Not a number, but at least a viewpoint, as in, how do you think next 10 years will evolve?
Well, I wish I knew the answer, but we are all evaluating, right? But the one part is very clear. I like the in a way you framed the question that, you are still talking about both investments in AI and investment in human. So that's very important because many a times we miss the point. And we see this as a technology investment and not a people investment. So on talent strategy, my view is, and more I'm talking to the GCC leaders, it seems like we are moving towards a diamond structure rather than a pyramid structure.
That's right.
Right? Because the belief is, and it's a belief, that we may not need junior employees because they do transactional stuff like reconciliation, testing, control testing, variance analysis, commentary generation, and so on and so forth. And that can be done by AI. So why do we need junior employees? So that's why if we don't need junior employees, we don't go to campuses, we don't hire those people because we have enough people. And then the moment they go up and slowly our mid-level becomes very bloated. Now, it's a reasonable assumption for now because it helps us manage the headcount, helps us manage the cost, helps us to keep the focus on how we can embrace AI. So it does all of that. But the point is it the right thing to do for future, 10 years from now? The worry is, and again, I always tell them, ask the right questions. We may not know the answer today, but when we get together, the CHROs and the CTOs, CIOs, CEOs, and the board, at least we come to a conclusion, a known conclusion. So what we are doing is we are kind of stopping the future pipeline of talent, and we will be dependent on the outside talent to come in and replace when people leave. Now that's a little worrisome thought for me, that it can be less or more, but we should not be stopping the bottom pipeline of talent. That's number one. The second aspect is, I was also talking to another consulting leader, and then he was saying, Nitin, I think when we were growing up, we grew up the ladder of corporate, and the challenge is that the bottom of that ladder is now missing, right?
Correct.
So nobody wants to hire a fresher, because they don't bring in that industry expertise, they don't bring in that functional expertise, and they are not as relevant. So if they do not get that experience, how would they come to the middle management?
Yeah.
So it's a dilemma for the younger workforce and for the corporates as well. Because if they do not join at the bottom level, they do not understand the organization well, they do not embrace that culture well. So culture will be a big question mark for the leaders to do it. Now my point is, if the bottom of that ladder is right now missing, we as organizations, we need to create a new staircase which looks different, because it's not an option to not have, it's not sustainable, right? Now what that new staircase would look like, where we hire people, we integrate our requirements with academia, we get people ready before even they come to start on day one. Our learning programs will have to evolve. License to get on a production floor will evolve. So a lot of new investments have to go into not only hiring the people, but getting the people ready for what we need right now. So this is beyond the AI aspect. And even when you are investing in AI, you are investing in AI as well as the entire infrastructure, which includes people. So human in the loops will be the most important people. Now, one of the controversial discussion that I was having, somebody mentioned that it will be a cognitive overload on people, because a lot of analysis will come your way. So earlier when we were working for 8 hours, we were replying to emails, we were looking at the spreadsheets, we were looking at data analysis, making presentation, and talking to people, brainstorming, and so on and so forth. That was our day. But now, because all that presentation, data, everything is sorted, it's coming for our judgment, for looking at the patterns, for taking decision. Wouldn't that cause a cognitive overload on people?
No, they will.
And I asked one of the large tech company in the US, who they have embraced AI quite a lot, are you getting cognitive overload? And the answer was, oh, I never thought it that way, but yes, absolutely. So the point is, will we still be in a 8 hours, 5 days kind of working scenario, or we will get some time that we can invest in learning, in our well-being, and so on and so forth? So these are some questions, right? We do not know the future, but through a trend, we can see what is happening, because in finance also I say, closing is hygiene, foresight is the job.
If there is so much of reliance on artificial intelligence for some of the decisions that they will make, but if there is any loss arising out of such decisions taken autonomously by AI bots, who will be blamed for, and who will take the responsibility of that loss?
Yeah. So again, it's a use of words. So who will be responsible? Because we have had those kind of conversations. So if we are implementing a AI solution, right? Let's say for regulatory reporting, and there is an error in that regulatory report, it attracts a huge fine, right? Who will be responsible? So the team who has implemented it, the CTO or the CIO or the technology team, the program team who is implementing it, or the functional team who owns it. Who will be responsible? So they will all be responsible for their part, right? So CIO will be responsible for the technology, and then program team will be responsible for managing the expectation and so on and so forth. But I'm saying responsible. Who will be accountable for that? There'll be senior management. If it is regulatory reporting, the CFO will be accountable, not responsible, accountable.
Accountable.
Because we cannot move away with the accountability. The worst statement that we can make when there is a problem is AI did it, right? AI did it because it has been given the context, data, infrastructure, and authority to do it. That's how it did it. And who gave that authority? I mean, the governing body. And who is that governing body? Senior management. So undoubtedly, senior management will be accountable for anything that AI does, whether on a good side or on a bad side.
So we have covered most of the aspect around AI and GCC impact on it. But one word of advice that you would want to give to all the people who are watching and people who are in finance domain, in GCC, what will be one or two advices for them? And then we will move to the next aspect of our podcast.
Yeah, so one advice for all the finance professionals would be to, number one, don't be scared of the technology, right? Embrace it. And I am saying it with full conviction because I am no different. I am not a techie, right? But I'm exploring the possibility how it can help finance function, and not only finance function, the enterprise, because I have to take the calls for enterprise, not only finance function. So that's number one. Number two, on a very practical level, whatever job profile you are doing, take that job profile, put it into pieces and see, honestly ask yourself, what can AI do based on your current profile, data, environment? And if something improves in the organization, what can it do? And what will you do? So what will you do if it is aligning to the decision making, to the judgment, to the accountability, to the interpretation, policy making, storytelling, and so on and so forth? Then build those skills in alignment with what AI can do. And you will get the answer. If you're not comfortable, don't tell the answer to your boss. But even if you won't, somebody else will. So better be ready for that.
Nee, this sums up really well. Thanks a lot for your view. And you also spoke about that diamond structure where career is stuck at some level within GCC. First, what is your view on it? And secondly, I just wanted to get your view. If people are in that zone, what will be your advice for them to?
You're absolutely right. It's been a while, and how GCC started, the shiny part of it, and people looking forward to go onshore, etc., has definitely come down for a couple of reasons. Number one, the scale has increased here, as you said. The second is there was a pandemic in between. We all got to know how to work remotely, right? So if we can work remotely, there is no point of going on site and bringing that work. And the third aspect is that's a reflection. If you need to be close to the customer, then you do some of that higher end stuff of the value chain. If you're not there, then you can as well work remotely, right? So that tells you the story that it is not as close to the customer still what we do as we want it to be, right? So these are two of the three parts. So that's number one. Number two is if anybody has started their career in GCC and they have stayed within the boundaries of a defined role, process, function, region, product, etc., they have an in-depth understanding of that zone only. They do not have a broader view of the organization.
Correct.
So when I talk to the finance professionals in an Indian setup, their knowledge is pretty wide. in terms of they know about the M&A, they know about treasury, they know about closing, they know about investment, they know about control testing, they know about audit. But when I talk to people in the GCC environment, more often than not, I am not generalizing, but more often than not, because it is, they know only about their process. If you ask them about what is your person next to you doing, they may not necessarily have the answer. How they are doing it, what system are they using, focused on what is on my table, right? Which brings efficiency. And that's what employers have been focusing on. So, and that's where a lot of people have landed after 15, 20 years of rigorous work in that domain. Now, if that domain is subject to automation, if that domain is subject to AI, if that domain is subject to complete transformation, suddenly you find yourselves as not relevant. So the risk is not AI. The risk is if you are experienced on yesterday's operating model. That's the risk. So that's where the advice comes in from. Start to look at the opportunity to move your role from one process to the other. Bring that understanding of cross-functional understanding. We got the biggest asset in India in GCCs. It's a cockpit view that we can get. That view is only available to the top management of the organization, but it is also available to the GCC employees if we want to capitalize on it. Because sitting here, I can look at what is the strategy of HR, what is the strategy of technology, what is the strategy of AI, what is the strategy of any product, because every aspect of the organization has some things offshored here, right? But it is for us to capitalize on that kind of information. So one, we already spoke about learn the technology, but also learn about the organization, how actually everything works in the organization, how many systems are there. As I'm saying, I mean, 500 applications I spoke about, out of that maybe 200, 300 applications are owned by finance. What are those 200, 300 applications? Why do they exist? Is there anything changing in that direction? What can we do better? So learn a little more about that and stay relevant, because every organization has a different operating model, different applications, right? So if you have to move out of that comfort zone of yours, where you have the in-depth expertise of 20 years, you might not be relevant for another organization, right?
You're right.
And just make sure whatever time period you have spent in a particular process, 10 years, 20 years, so your 11th year or 21st year is not similar to your first year or 10th year.
Yeah, interesting.
Organizations are thinking of enabling that, but it is equally the responsibility of employees to stay employable.
Yes, interesting. So how one senior leadership like yours will ensure that this at least had some way of letting people go, or at least training them somewhere else, so they still become employable in their longer term duration? And secondly, even from the employee perspective, how do they ensure that they are cross-trained and at least they leave the organization at some point where I think there may be a chance of redundancy?
See, it's a shared responsibility.
Agree.
Of an employer and an employee. What is the objective of an employer? To get the best productivity, best outcome, on-time performance.
Correct.
Right? And if keeping people in a particular process in depth, applying that technology on top of that, I mean, if that is giving me that, it sounds reasonable. But that doesn't mean that the organization is not thinking about the people and their cross-training, etc. It's there for employees to raise hand and grab. How many employees do that? You'll be surprised. So in multiple instances when I'm talking to the people and I'm saying, guys, anybody who is interested in doing a little more than what they do, right? Raise your hand, come to me, have a one-on-one, and then we will make sure that you get some sort of opportunity, if not formal, but on the side, so that you start learning. But there is one condition before you come talk to me. Create a one slider or a two slider, whatever you're comfortable with. What do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? What is in it for the organization? Send it to me, block the time, come have a conversation. In 3 years, how many do you think have blocked the time?
It was
handful, right? So it's the responsibility of the employees as well to grab those opportunities, to learn. Some things are easily available on the floor. Have you spoken to the person next to you? Nobody has to enable that. Have you spoken to your tech partner on what other application he or she is working on? Nobody has to enable that, right? So that's the point. And organization will not look at our employees' employability, because we don't want people to leave us. We will look at their productivity while they are within the organization. Employees themselves, they will have to look for their employability, right? What is relevant for them, right? So if I'm coming out of an organization after 15 years, do I even know what kind of softwares are available in the market? Where the market is moving, how the things are being reported. So when people join from a not so advanced on the tech side organization to very advanced tech side organization, it takes them years to settle down because the expectations are very different. Right? So that's the point, where every organization is thinking to keep the people productive. People should also think how should they be working to remain employable. Otherwise, this is inevitable, right? One day, we are seeing all these news these days that people got the email in the morning. And, that's not how it should happen and things like that. That's the reality of the economics.
So we spoke about AI and their roadmap for many GCCs, the investment plan, next 10 years, what skill set, what talent strategy. Now, what do you see in next 10 years for GCCs in India? And I see, and this is by one of the leading GCC setup company in India, they say every 15 days, they are opening a new GCC in Hyderabad. In India, that rate is a week type. So every week you see a new GCC coming into India. Do you see that this trend will continue, one? And secondly, if it continues, then what type of workforce, and this I'm asking largely for some of the newcomers who wants to get into it. So what type of workforce will come into this zone, and what should be the talent strategy for some of these larger organizations to be able to balance the equation? So rather having diamond pyramid, they still need to have freshers into their intake. So is that something you want to comment on?
So will the trend continue? Absolutely, for a while. It will continue because we need to understand the GCC industry of India. So 2000 odd GCC setup in India. If I see how many of them are mega GCCs. When I say mega GCC, it's GCCs with more than 5,000 employees in India. There are 5% of these GCC which are more than 5,000 employees. And they employ more than 50% of the GCC employee base, right? So that will define the majority of what is the kind of work that is happening, because that is more than 50%. The newer GCCs which are coming in, they are relatively smaller because we have a proven model of what GCCs can do out of India, and a lot of relatively smaller companies they also want to explore. So that's one aspect. The second aspect is, what do we do in these GCCs? I mean, we are saying that we have moved from the transactional stuff to more high-end, more innovation,
Business
and so on and so forth. It might be a little controversial, but I would say, I mean, if we really need to see the reality of what we do, and I'm not saying that we are not doing innovation, but it's a very small percentage of the overall work that we do in innovation. Now, if we need to check the reality of what we really do, we need to check the transfer pricing reports. When we look at the transfer pricing reports on what we do, that's how we decide what kind of premium do we attach to the profitability that we will earn from our parent company, right? And that's where you really see the kind of work that you're doing. Many a times, I mean, we say what we aspire to be and not what we are. So now that's the gap I feel we need to bridge, right? So what we want to be more on the high-end side of work, more on the innovation side of work, we should continue to invest there if we want to stay relevant. That's number two. And the last aspect is the way processes work in a GCC and an offshoring environment is we do a lot of transactional stuff here, and in many a times in those terminology, the final approver is sitting on site somewhere. Now that final approver is the human in the loop.
Correct.
Right? So if I am sitting in any of the Western market, and if I am seeing that if I can automate the transactional work and behave like a human in the loop, is it a doable model? Absolutely yes. I mean, I would explore that. Now we have to start thinking, how can we work in that environment and still be human in the loop here, right? Is the point, I mean, in which we need to invest in our capabilities. That capabilities should change. The broader view of the organization has to come in to be human in the loop. So these are the three aspects that I would say that we need to keep our eye on. I mean, to stay relevant in the GCC. It's a fantastic industry for India. People become comfortable because they get good salaries, good packages, in comparison to what you get outside initially. And you know, we have to do the trade in our mind as professionals as well. Should we get higher salary and relatively narrower experience, or should we get settled with relatively lower money but broader experience at the beginning of our career?
Correct.
So that's the question everyone need to answer for themselves.
I know this discussion can go on and on for a longer duration, but for now we will just stay here. So thanks a lot, Nitin, for your views.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.